All right guys, buckle up because we're about to unveil a collection of tips, tricks, and hacks that's going to revolutionize your cooler game. In this video, we're going to share some secrets that's going to take your outdoor adventures to a whole new level of awesomeness. So grab a beer or a glass of sweet tea and be ready to be amazed at all the cooler techniques that await you. It's time to embark on an outdoor exploration like you've never seen before. Guys, the first and easiest thing is to just use some frozen water bottles to line the bottom of your cooler. You can put a bunch in there, you can put a few, it doesn't matter. Probably depends on your trip, where you're going, how far you're going, but check it out. These things right here, frozen solid. These are going to keep your food colder for a lot longer than just loose ice. And once they thaw, you get to drink them. If you can avoid it, don't put your cooler in the direct sunlight. That shade right over there would be a lot better. Guys, we bought this Pelican cooler back in May of 2015 for $306. Look at the difference of the thickness of the wall of the Pelican cooler compared to the Coleman. Jen and the kids got me this Pelican cooler 8 years ago for my birthday. It's practically lived in my truck and gone on every single trip we've ever taken. The handles are a little bit tired, but that's about it. These latches are beasts. Great seal, easy to drain. We love our Pelican cooler. If you have the opportunity, cool your drinks before you put them in the cooler and put them on ice. It's going to help your ice stay a lot longer.
If some of your condiments have the potential to leak in your cooler, then it's probably a good idea to throw them into some sort of sealed container, or I just throw them in a Ziploc bag. So what we like to do is put some homemade soup into a plastic container. That way it's easy to pop out of the container, and then we can vacuum seal it and put it in the cooler.
The cool thing about this is it keeps it nice and sealed. This stuff's not going to end up in your cooler, and it acts as a big ice cube.
So what's also cool about this is when you get to your campsite or wherever you're going, you just drop this in some boiling water, and when it's all nice and warm, you just cut the side open and pour it into a cup or a bowl, and you got yourself a nice bowl of homemade soup.
When it comes to vacuum sealing, we're trying to maximize space and reduce air exposure. So I'm going to take this and turn it into this. Another cool tip is to put a bottle opener right on side of the cooler. Depends on what you got in the cooler, of course. I just put a string right on the little cheapo one like this. Loop it right through. Here you go, Cheyenne.
Okay, it's important to also make sure as you're packing your cooler that you're putting items in specific areas. We have Coke, Diet Coke, and waters here. You can also label the top of your cooler if that works better for your family or a large party. That way you're not opening the cooler as often, and you know where the items are that you're trying to get right to. It's very helpful to label where you're putting some of your specific items for your guests or kids who like to go in and dig around and look for whatever they're looking for, because the ice adds a layer on top so you can't really see what's down in there. Keep your more delicate items like fruits and vegetables in separate containers. We have some yogurt, blueberries, granola, and then we also pre-made some pancake mix right here in a water bottle.
There's going to be times where you want to vacuum seal and times where you want to use a reusable container. I get it. This stuff's plastic, so we want to use it in moderation. For example, this was a leftover sub that I decided to seal to take on the camping trip. Things can be sealed without sucking the air out of them, and in the case of the sandwich, I chose to just simply seal the bag. I trust this in my cooler. This bag of shrimp, on the other hand, from somewhere in China with this little Ziploc thing or whatever seal they have at the top, I don't trust that in my cooler. So for that, I'm gonna have that stuff sealed up properly. I've also got some chicken strips and some fish. So guys, there's some pros and cons to the container method and the vacuum seal method. With the vacuum seal, we want to be able to eat all of this meat in one serving. There's no tearing this bag open and then resealing it. They actually do have some like that for vacuum sealing, but if I was gonna do that, I'd just use a Ziploc. So if I knew this was chicken for 2 nights, I'd put half in one sealed bag and half in another. For food items that I'm gonna use a little bit now and a little bit later, a resealable container works really well for that. As you're packing your cooler, especially for longer trips, make sure that the last items you're putting in are gonna be the first things you're gonna use. The tough one in that area is the drinks, and that's why sometimes we consider a whole different cooler for that. Let's say you have plenty of cooler space left over as you head out for your trip. It's still critically important to keep that cooler full. Fill it up with ice, and the less air that's in the cooler, the longer your stuff's gonna stay cold and the longer your ice is gonna last. A lot of people think they need to drain that water out of their cooler on a regular basis. Well, that water can actually be helpful. It takes up space in your cooler and it means less air. Less air in your cooler is your friend. Another cool trick is to light up the inside of your cooler. Some people use LED lights, and we like to just throw glow sticks inside. As you can see, it helps out quite a bit, and it's pretty cool. So guys, there you have 21 tips, tricks, and hacks to be more efficient and organized with your cooler space. Definitely give some of these a shot on your next adventure. Let me know in the comments which ones resonated with you. After all, you're now a cooler master. Guys, if you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell and the like button. This is gonna help keep you informed as we release more videos. And hopefully next time we see you, it's out on an adventure somewhere, not here in our kitchen. Until next time, God bless.